No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Hello my hamsters and welcome back to Little House with a beautiful sad, and this is my wonderful dog. Because you're gonna need this picture, just let that sink in. Today we are about to speak about Girl Defined, unfortunately, and the stuff that they've deleted, but I still want to hold them accountable for. Because I think it's absolutely ridiculous that someone in 2014, whenever marriage equality wasn't still in the US, was complaining about people fighting for rights. Yeah, if you don't get it, you're absolutely not alone. I don't get it either. Let's just speak of this. The gay pride movement and the sneaky agenda. The movement is on the rise. If you've read or watched any news stories in the past few years, you've seen it. If you've viewed any modern TV shows or movies, you've been entertained by it. If you walk into a modern makeup store in the past 12 months, you've felt it. Dang it, James Charles. It's everywhere. Now, we actually do have a reason this year to say dang it, James Charles, but okay. In my short lifetime, I've never experienced a push for an agenda as strong as I have this one. I've never seen Christians lose their backbone so quickly when the pressure's on. You know what I'm talking about. The gay pride movement is gaining some serious momentum right here in America and all around the world. Our culture is working its hardest to redefine family, marriage, and gender. Okay, enough of sarcasm. Let's chat. Is this worth all that build-up? But seriously though, is this worth all that build-up? Like, yes, things change, people grow, the world changes. Why is that an issue, Girl Defined? The word gay itself is a perfect example of a culture trying to redefine things. Prior to the 1960s, the word gay was rarely used to define a homosexual person. Oof, those nasty homosexuals. For hundreds of years, the word gay was used to describe someone as being joyful, carefree, and light-hearted. All these three words are in quotes. By adopting the friendly term, quote-unquote, gay, we naturally downplay and minimize the depravity of that lifestyle. It makes light of something that should never be taken lightly. Oh yeah, something that should never be taken lightly, like minimizing people's existence. Oopsie daisy. A sneaky agenda. Did you know that less than 3.5% of the entire American population claims to be homosexual? So how in the world did such a tiny group of people create this massive snowball effect? Okay, let's try to rephrase this. Did you know that less than 3.5% of the entire American population claims to be homosexual? So how in the heck can that bother you so much, Kristen? How in the heck can that bother you so much, Kristen? How does that affect your life, Kristen? I can tell you this. It didn't happen by accident. They've had a sneaky agenda since the beginning. Through a carefully crafted, decades-old propaganda campaign, homosexual activists have successfully cast homosexuals as a disadvantaged minority. That's from RenewAmerica.com. Now, I would love you to explain to me via some scientific sources, papers, you maybe having some backing to your statements at all, as to why, what's the reason that gay people harm society so much? You know? What's the reason? Two consensual adults being in a relationship wanting rights. What is not okay right there? I genuinely don't understand. But I'd like that source not to be RenewAmerica.com. Because, if that doesn't reveal if that doesn't reveal that bias a bit, I don't know what does. As a result of their strategic marketing and political influence, they have convinced most Americans that they are actually a distinct people, quote-unquote, race. In the past, our battle was for the equality of African American people, but now the battle is for the equality of the homosexual. Why? I mean, I'd personally say that we still need to fight for both of these groups, both the LGBTQ plus people and the Black people out there, because both groups face discrimination, right? Anyway, the quote-unquote new civil rights movement. They want us to accept the notion that homosexual behavior is really something that's natural for a legitimate minority, that it's the same thing as being, again, they repeat this, African American, or it's the same thing as being Hispanic. It's ridiculous to assume that because they do a specific, well, you know what cruise ship was in the last episode. It's what adults do. So I'm not going to say the word, but I'm going to say cruise ship. It's ridiculous to assume that because they do a specific cruise ship act or acts, they therefore demand certain rights and should be granted those rights. So ridiculous, right? Like, people who don't hurt anyone want rights. So ridiculous. They claim this is the new civil rights movement. In fact, there's a popular website called the New Civil Rights Movement, which is dedicated to fighting for homosexual, quote-unquote, rights. Goodness, Kristen, what makes you so angry about people gaining rights? I know this has been said before, but like, it's not a pie. It's not a pie. Just because somebody else gets rights doesn't mean you lose them. Anyone who speaks against a homosexual might be in danger of speaking quote-unquote hate crimes against a minority race. Well, yeah, maybe because these are hate crimes. I mean, I hope I'm not too biased because I do have a tiny bit of a personal connection to this topic. But, you know, it's kind of ridiculous to say, yeah, see, that this hate crime over there is not actually a hate crime because I hate people getting rights. You know, like, I'm trying so hard not to come off as douchebaggy here, and you're gonna see exactly why in the next couple of pages. But, yeah, that's just genuinely what I think of them. It's quite revolting. The truth is, they're not a special race at all. If I hosted a summer camp and said only gay people are allowed to come, how or what would determine who qualified to come? How does someone prove that they are a gay? Well, Kristen and Bethany, but mainly Kristen because Kristen wrote this, you don't, because it can be an invasion of privacy to prove things like that. Like, no one owes anyone proving of who they are. Now, the thing is, you can ask and be a kind person, but yeah, there's that. That's it. It's about how you see yourself and how you feel inside. It's not something that can be tested genetically. It's not something a person is born with. No evidence has ever proved that. That's in like these tiny brackets. It's not even a physical attribute. So how do you determine who qualifies to come to the summer camp? The only way to define a person as a homosexual is if they choose to be categorized as one. And how do they choose? By their actions. The thing that makes a person gay or not has nothing to do with their race, but everything to do with their lifestyle choices. Race was in quotes. Yeah, no, that's not a lifestyle choice. This actually gets me angry. Because lifestyle choice is me waking up and saying, hey, I'm going to wear a dress today. Or like, hey, I'm going to be silly and drink water from a wine glass today. Or, I don't know, that's a lifestyle choice. So like, I'm going to go and run today. I'm going to go to the gym once COVID is fully over and everyone can go to the gym. But, I mean, where I live we can, but that's off topic. It's a whole thing of being gay is not in that realm. You don't choose it. You don't go ahead and say, yes, today I'm choosing to be gay. Tomorrow I'll be straight. No, it's just who you are. You don't choose your attraction. What they choose to do crucially with their bodies is the defining factor here. Nothing else. The gay pride movement has also done a great job of playing the victim. If they can get the American people to believe they're a specific people group or race, then they can play the victim whenever they're not accepted. They're released from being held responsible for their own actions and choices. What type of responsibility do we need? Because I don't think people are harming anyone. Like, fair enough, so you can look at someone like Shane Dawson and say he's harmful. You can look at someone like Jeffree Star and say he's harmful, but none of these people are harmful because they're a piece of LGBTQ plus community. They're harmful because they're a bunch of douchebags, right? True love helps people. Some of you might be thinking, man, you're being really unloving right now. I'm glad you brought that up, because that's another sign of the homosexual agenda. Goodness, people, bar the windows, close the doors. The gays are coming and we need to keep safe. Our culture wants you to be mad at me for not being quote-unquote loving and accepting of everyone. The truth is, I do not hate a single homosexual person out there. They are sinful humans, just like myself, who have been made in the image of God. At my core, I'm no better than they are. The issue I have with homosexuals is not the actual person, but their habitually sinful lifestyle that is in direct rebellion against God. Now, I want to be crystal clear over here. This is not me wanting to bash Christians. At all. This is just saying, hey, Kristen, these beliefs are not okay. It's not okay to justify discrimination with your religiosity. That's all I'm saying. And it's a slippery slope whenever people believe things they're taught in any regard, whether it be religion, whether it be politics, whether it be like personal morals and values, literally, and don't like reevaluate them and don't check them in from time to time. This type of situation can happen when that's in place. That's just my belief. Nowhere does the Bible say that we should love and accept everyone's choices and actions. We are called to love others, yes, but we are not called to support and accept their sin. Love the sinner, hate the sin. Or hate the sin, love the sinner, depending on how you want it. You know, I think anyone who's been told that can absolutely agree it's a marvelous idea, right? Isn't it great to just be shamed and, you know, kind of ridiculed for basic things and basic thoughts you have in your life? Yeah, great. As Christian girls, we have to define love according to how God defines it. God says, if you love me, you will keep my commands. John 14:15. Oh, that was so uncomfortable. Now, the biggest point I believe, if you're going to take anything from this video, please go back to the beginning and rewatch me saying that this was in 2014, meaning the US didn't have marriage equality yet. That's the point I'm stressing. These people are angry that the people who don't have rights are fighting for rights, and who deserve those rights are fighting for rights. Why? They don't harm them. They don't affect them in any way. They're just angry that those people contradict their beliefs. They just simply can't exist in diversity, can they? Like, I mean, at this point, we might as well just say that the only reason they don't like the LGBTQ plus community is the clash in those beliefs. I really don't know how to stress this enough, but because of those quote-unquote rights, as you say, or rather their lack of, people get literally murdered, people get in jail, and people become criminals for just existing. That's the quote-unquote rights we're speaking of. And I just really want to preface this. Yes, this was years ago. Yes, this is deleted. The accountability party is still not over, though. And if you put yourself out there, you're going to have critics. Hey, hi, hello. I want to preface, I don't hate you, Girl Defined. I'd just love to have a chat. Maybe the type of chat you had with Brenda. Thank you all for watching, and I absolutely adore you. If you want to support me through other means, you can go ahead and see my Instagram at HauntedOopsie. Like, share, subscribe, do all the nice stuff. The video is going to be playing on the screen. Thank you for watching. I adore you. This is a very personal video for me, so it's quite heavy to make. Thank you all for watching, and see you next time.